Stephen Miller sounds alarm over share of Somalis using welfare in Minnesota. Wait till you see the numbers. It's way worse than what I thought. I mean, overwhelming majority of Somalis in Minnesota is on welfare. Yet you got people like Ihan Omar coming out saying that they contribute, and the mainstream media saying that Somalis contribute to America and all these other things. When actuality, they don't. They just take. And I'm not afraid to say it. They just take, and they give absolutely nothing to the culture, to the community, or anything. They just take. They're all on welfare. And we're going to show the numbers. We're going to talk about it. No matter how bad they try to talk smack about Stephen Miller and call him a Nazi and stuff like that, even though he's Jewish, they try to, they really hate Miller because he points to stuff like this. And we're going to talk about it. But before we get started, go ahead and hit that like button. Share this out so we can get this information out there. Subscribe if you're not already a subscriber, and hit that alarm bell so you know when I'm putting out new stuff. Also, check out my link tree in the description. There you'll find a link to my Patreon. That's where I talk about things that I can't talk about here. There's also a link to my Instagram and my X account, so follow me there as well. All right, so let's get into the news. Now, this comes from the Gateway Pundit, and they report that a massive Somali-run welfare fraud scam has drawn nationwide scrutiny toward the ways in which immigrants from the African Muslim nation abuse public benefits in Minnesota. And that is par for the course for Somalis. Y'all know I hate drawing these broad things or generalizing, but this is one generalization that's actually true. They come from a country that's full of fraud, and then they come and they export that here to the United States and commit fraud. Look no further than the Brick Lady. If y'all haven't seen that if y'all haven't heard that story, that's crazy. Where there's a Somali American, I don't even know if she's American, but she lied and said this dude hit her with a brick and got this GoFundMe and got thousands upon thousands of dollars from the GoFundMe from a made up story, and she ended up having to pay that back. That happened here in Harris County in Houston, and she got found guilty for fraud. And again, this is par for the course for Somalis. They commit these frauds and just take and lie to the people. But the community of 80,000 Somalis, largely concentrated in Minneapolis and St. Paul, is infamous for defrauding state programs at disproportionate levels. But even their high overall reliance on welfare is calling their behavior and their very presence in America into question. A new report from the Center for Immigration Studies revealed that 81% of Somali immigrant households are using welfare of some kind. Wow. Yet again, the mainstream media and Ihan Omar is saying that they contribute, but they're getting all this welfare, all these benefits that could be going to people that really, really need it. That includes 54% of households on food stamps and 73% on Medicaid. Here you can see the numbers here from In Wokeness. 81% of Somali families in Minnesota are on welfare versus 21% of American families. The rates for Somali immigrant households that have been in the United States for 10 years or more, in other words, households that have had time to secure employment and build some degree of wealth, do not fare much better. So they've been here for 10 years already. While 78% are on welfare of any kind, 48% are on food stamps, and 68% are on Medicaid. By way of comparison, 21% of Native households are on any type of welfare, while 7% are on food stamps and 18% are on Medicaid. Somali immigrant households with children are even more likely to be using welfare. The rate of any welfare use increased to 89% for such households. Wow, so almost 90% when they got children. Quote, any population with poverty rates as high as theirs will legally qualify for extensive means tested aid, either directly for themselves or indirectly through the U.S.-born dependents, the Center for Immigration Studies said of the Somali community in Minnesota. Quote, the way to reduce immigrant consumption of welfare is not simply to crack down on fraud, but to reduce the number of new arrivals who have the low earnings power characteristic of Somalis. Facts. Facts, facts. And they keep saying, well, we're a country of immigrants. We're a country of immigrants. We're a country of immigrants. That's true. The immigrants that came here of past, I'm talking about I'm talking about the Irish, the Italians, all of them. They came in. They didn't get any government assistance. They came in and they made their own money. They came in and they worked. They got jobs. They created jobs and all types of things to make to pay for their families while they were here. You don't see that with the Somalis. They come here with their hand out. Totally different times. So we need to end that. We need to stop that. White House Deputy Chief of Staff for Policy, Stephen Miller, offered remarks about the statistics on social media, noting that the problem is even worse than the figures would indicate. He said, quote, and even this fails to capture the magnitude of the problem because American families in this context includes the descendants of Somali migrants and other migrant groups, Miller wrote. So you got to remember, so wow. So it's even worse than the numbers actually show. Miller has been a leading critic of the Somali community and their mass immigration into the United States. Quote, the entire Somali refugee program is predicated on a lie, he recently wrote. Destroying your own country does not give you the right to become a citizen of ours. Facts, facts, facts. And people got Somali fatigue. Even black folk is tired of these Somalis coming in with their hand out and then talking down to our community. Look no further than TikTok. Miller also said that, quote, the central plank of the Democrat Party is to import every dysfunctional society into your town until you are completely cut off from everything you have ever known. Facts, facts, facts. Shout out to Stephen Miller. He ain't holding no punches. But y'all let me know what y'all think about this. Leave y'all comments down below. Like, share, and subscribe. And check out jjthepsychotherapist.com for the latest in news. Until next time, peace.